Sure. Okay, so first about me, my name's Sam Bloom. The children's librarian here at the Groesbeck Library in Cincinnati. I've been here for 4 years. Before that, I was an elementary school teacher in the Indianapolis Public Schools. I taught for 5 or 6 years. I've loved books since I was a kid. My dad and mom read to me all the time, and I think the books I remember most are the Narnia books that my dad read to me, and the Lord of the Rings, and the Ramona books. Lots of books. We read lots of books. And this was my first awards committee. Very first. I felt extremely fortunate and grateful. And I still don't believe it, that I actually was on the Newbery Committee. I still have a hard time believing it. So this is my first and hopefully not my last. I went to ALA Annual Conference in Chicago a couple years ago. And was that one you were at? No. That was you just went to DC, right? Mm-hmm. So I went to Chicago, and that was my first conference. And I just wanted to get involved, so I came back and I emailed, you probably remember Tom Bartlemus, the president, the guy with the cool glasses, remember him? I emailed him and just said I wanted to get involved in ALSC, that's the children's division of the American Library Association, and he emailed back and said, sorry, we don't have anything right now. So I said, okay, I guess I'll try, next year. That was back in fall of 2009. And then on December 10th, 2009, I'll never forget that date, I got a phone call here at the library, and it was Tom Bartlemus. And I remember when he said who he was, I thought to myself, why in the world is he calling me? And then he told me he had an opening on a committee, and it was the Newbery. Did I want to do it? And I bet you can guess what I said. It's like, no, sorry. No, just kidding. That's not what I said. I said, yes, please. So it was very exciting. Yeah, that's how it happened. Okay, the committee was, I don't have anything to compare it to because I've never been on a committee, but I really just felt like it was the nicest and most fun group of 15 people, like of all time. And I feel so fortunate to have been on the committee I was on. We had a lot of fun together. I got to room with one of the dudes. There were 3 of us guys on the committee. In fact, the guy that I roomed with, you put up something on your blog, I remember, his little thing. That was Dan. So he and I had a lot of fun together rooming. And I just became really close friends, I feel like, with all of them. And we have a little group on Facebook that we still keep in touch and we talk. And it was a lot of fun. Okay, how many books did I read? I think when all was said and done, the books I actually read from start to finish was about 350. I think out of those 350, I know, I took a lot of vacation time from the library to just read. Out of those 350, I think I read probably 50 or 60 of those more than once. And there were some books that I read 4 or 5 times. Moon Over Manifest, after it won, I actually read it again because I loved it so much. And so that was my 5th time reading it. So, and then there were another 250 that I started, read at least 20 pages. And then, sometimes you can just tell. When it's a fun book, it's a lot of fun, but it's not, it didn't fit the criteria. So yeah, there were a lot of books. Read a lot of books. I had to take very close notes, otherwise I would forget what book we were talking about. And I have a book club here, and there was one time we were talking about the book. Do you know the book Found by Margaret Peterson Haddix? Mm-hmm. She's the one who did Among the Hidden, right? And it's her new series, and we were talking about it, and I started mentioning characters, and the kids, they were all 5th graders too. They all said, I don't remember a character named that. And I would say, oh yeah, that's right, that's from another book. And I would say, oh, this was the book with, so-and-so. And they said, no, we don't know that character. So I had to take notes so I didn't get books confused and characters confused. I can't remember what else. Hi, Angie, you can come back here, I'm sorry. We kind of usurped the break room. No, you're okay. What else did you ask? You asked,
how often did you meet?
how often did I meet? We met once in Boston at the beginning of the year for midwinter. We only met for a couple hours. We met in Washington, D.C. when you were there. We met 2 times for 4 hours each. We just did a practice discussion then. And then in San Diego, when we picked the winners, we met 2 days, 8 o'clock in the morning until 10 at night the first day, with breaks for lunch and dinner. 8 o'clock in the morning till about midnight-ish the night that we picked it, with a couple breaks. But it was pretty much, that second day was really intense. It was like we spent 11 or 12 hours in the room talking about the books, so it gets tiring talking about all those books. Well, you know, I think that probably on the average during the year I probably spent 10 to 20 hours outside of work time reading. And that was hard because, you know, I mean, you guys know I've got a baby at home. So that was hard. I had to start during her nap times on the weekends. I would grab my books and rush out to the coffee shop and read. Or during my breaks here at work, I would grab a book and read. And then by the end of the year, I did take about 3 weeks off, and I just did nothing but read. Just the whole time, I just read. And it was fun, but my goodness, I bet you've had this experience before. My eyes started hurting, really. Have you read so much that your eyes have hurt before? Yeah, so it was great, but it's nice to have my eyes back so I can see and I don't have a headache. So, I kept a decent amount. Definitely the winner in the honor books, and I put the stickers on them, so that was exciting to see them with the stickers on them. And I kept ones that are my favorites that didn't win. And I've donated a bunch to the library, and I have some more that I still have to go through that I'm going to donate to the library. And I've got some that I'm holding on to for a special thing today. Hint, hint. And I'm going to take some to my book club that I work with. And those are mostly the, have you ever, did publishers ever send you the advanced reader? Yeah.
I get like a lot of those.
Do you get, isn't that fun? It's like Christmas every day when you get those. So I'm going to take those to the school that I have the book club at. And the rest of them, the ones that are the actual finished books, I'm giving them to the library. And if they're not books that the library needs, like if we already have a zillion copies, I'm just donating them to our friends group, and then they have book sales, so they can. I had a lot. Honestly, Moon Over Manifest was probably my favorite for most of the year, and I loved it. I loved One Crazy Summer so much. Loved One Crazy Summer. Great book. I loved a couple books that you didn't like. I remember me asking about The Bone Shaker? Loved The Bone Shaker. I loved another book I think that you said was the first book you ever didn't finish, Conspiracy of Kings.
Yeah.
I love that. You know what you should do? Honestly, go back and read The Thief. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
That was the first book in the series, and then go in order. I just read The Thief. That was the first book I read once I got done with Newbery, because I loved Conspiracy of Kings so much. I thought, I've got to read The Thief. So I read that, and it's so good. And just from reading that one book, there were some things in Conspiracy of Kings that made more sense. And now I'm going to read the other two. But I mean, you heard me talking about Narnia and The Lord of the Rings. I love fantasy, so, and I just thought that was amazing. And then in terms of, I loved, did you see that book, Capo Rescue, the one that won the Cybert about the parrots? Oh, I think that book is awesome. If you've never, do you like nonfiction very much?
Not really as much as fiction.
I understand. It's I really like the author's name is Cy Montgomery, and she's just got such a cool way of writing about animals. And the pictures are by Nick Bishop, who is the best photographer in the world. And then I liked I was thrilled that Amos McGee won the Caldecott. Have you seen that? It's so good, and my daughter loves that book. So I had a lot of books. I can't name them all. There are too many. I really liked all the books. That I was really glad that Dark Emperor got an honor. I think that book is so well done. I just used it in story time the other day, and the kids really, I only used one poem, but they liked it. And Turtle in Paradise I thought was hilarious. And Heart of a Samurai, I liked how it was kind of an old-fashioned throwback book. You know, it kind of reminded you of reading a book from the 50s or 60s. I liked it, so I love a lot of books.